The human metabolic cycle operates under a strict, evolutionary circadian mandate, dictating that daylight hours are designed for energy consumption. The nocturnal hours are reserved exclusively for cellular repair and lipid oxidation. However, as the human body advances into its 6th and 7th decades, this delicate chronobiological rhythm becomes severely compromised. The natural, age-related decline in skeletal muscle mass, combined with years of cumulative dietary stress, results in a state of progressive insulin resistance. Consequently, the evening meal, often the largest and most carbohydrate-dense intake of the day, ceases to be a source of restorative energy. Instead, it becomes a profound metabolic liability. When an individual over 60 consumes a standard dinner, glucose enters a bloodstream with restricted access. The cellular doors are essentially rusted shut. The aging pancreas is forced into an emergency response, secreting an unnaturally high volume of insulin. Because the skeletal muscles are resistant to taking up this sugar, the insulin forcibly shunts the excess energy directly into the liver. Here, the hepatic machinery engages in de novo lipogenesis, aggressively converting the carbohydrates into triglycerides. These triglycerides are then exported and deposited directly around the abdominal organs as visceral adipose tissue. As long as insulin remains elevated in the bloodstream during the evening, it acts as a chemical padlock on hormone-sensitive lipase. This effectively paralyzes the body's ability to burn stored body fat. The individual goes to sleep not in a state of restorative fasting, but locked in a pathological state of relentless fat storage, ensuring they wake up heavier, lethargic, and metabolically inflamed. To abruptly halt this nocturnal fat storage cascade and forcefully flip the metabolic switch back to lipid oxidation, one must deploy a highly specific, targeted biochemical intervention precisely 30 to 60 minutes after the evening meal. This intervention does not involve complex pharmaceuticals, but rather the strategic ingestion of a single, highly specialized botanical matrix. The tart green apple, specifically the Malus domestica varieties such as the Granny Smith. To view the green apple merely as a standard piece of fruit is to dangerously misunderstand its unique pharmacological profile. While most modern fruits, such as bananas, grapes, and mangoes, have been hybridized to contain massive liver-crushing loads of fructose that would only exacerbate evening fat storage, the tart green apple is a metabolic anomaly. It is extraordinarily low in simple sugars, but incredibly dense in a specific type of soluble polysaccharide known as pectin, alongside a highly concentrated payload of bioactive polyphenols. The metabolic rescue operation begins the moment the masticated green apple enters the acidic environment of the stomach. The high concentration of pectin, a complex structural fiber that human enzymes cannot digest, rapidly hydrates when it mixes with the gastric fluids. And the remnants of your evening meal. As it absorbs water, the pectin undergoes a profound physical transformation, expanding to form a highly viscous, thick mucilaginous gel. This biological gel essentially encapsulates the digested carbohydrates and lipids from your dinner. By physically trapping these macronutrients, the pectin gel drastically slows the rate of gastric emptying. As this viscous mass slowly enters the duodenum, it creates a formidable physical barrier against the brush border enzymes of the small intestine. The digestive enzymes struggle to reach the carbohydrates trapped within the gel, resulting in a meticulously slow, microscopic, and controlled drip of glucose. Because the blood sugar does not spike, the pancreas is not triggered into a state of alarm. The postprandial insulin surge is completely blunted. By chemically suppressing the evening insulin release, the tart green apple removes the biological padlock from your fat cells, allowing hormone-sensitive lipase to remain active and ensuring that your body is hormonally authorized to burn stored body fat throughout the entire night. But the mechanical buffering of glucose is only the first phase of this fruit's nocturnal intervention. The true molecular magic lies within its dense skin, which contains a phenomenal concentration of a flavonoid known as quercetin. Quercetin is a master metabolic regulator that operates at the very core of cellular energy management. Once absorbed into the systemic circulation, quercetin travels to the liver and skeletal muscle cells, where it actively stimulates an enzyme called AMP-activated protein kinase, universally known as AMPK. In the realm of clinical endocrinology, AMPK is referred to as the metabolic master switch. Under normal circumstances, AMPK is only activated when the body is in a state of deep fasting, starvation, or intense physical exertion. It signals to the cell that energy is dangerously low and that it must immediately stop storing fat and start burning it for survival. When quercetin from the green apple binds to the cellular receptors, it chemically tricks the cells into believing that they are in a state of fasting, even though you have just consumed dinner. The activation of AMPK aggressively inhibits an opposing enzyme called acetyl-CoA carboxylase, which completely shuts down the liver's ability to synthesize new fat molecules. Simultaneously, AMPK commands the mitochondria, the energy-producing furnaces within your cells, to begin pulling free fatty acids out of your visceral fat stores and oxidizing them for ATP production. You are essentially utilizing the quercetin to biohack your cells, chemically inducing the exact fat-burning state of a deep, prolonged fast while you are comfortably asleep. This cellular reprogramming is deeply supported by a third, highly complex biological event that occurs in the dark, anaerobic environment of your large intestine. The pectin gel, having successfully shielded your bloodstream from a glucose spike, travels completely intact into your colon. Here, it encounters the trillions of symbiotic bacteria that comprise your gut microbiome. These specific bacteria possess the precise enzymes required to ferment the pectin. This nocturnal fermentation process produces a massive yield of short-chain fatty acids, specifically butyrate, acetate, and propionate. The production of these short-chain fatty acids while you sleep is perhaps the most profound longevity protocol known to modern science. Butyrate acts as the primary fuel source for the colonocytes, rapidly repairing the tight junctions of the intestinal wall, sealing microscopic leaks, and drastically lowering systemic whole-body inflammation, which is clinically measurable by a significant drop in C-reactive protein. But the true metabolic miracle is executed by the propionate. As propionate is absorbed from the colon into the portal vein, it travels directly to the liver. Once inside the hepatic tissue, propionate acts as a powerful signaling molecule that directly inhibits gluconeogenesis, the process by which the liver manufactures and dumps new glucose. In older adults, a very common and frustrating phenomenon is waking up with inexplicably high fasting blood sugar, even if they ate a healthy dinner. This is known as the dawn phenomenon, caused by a morning surge of cortisol forcing the liver to dump its glucose reserves. The propionate generated from the nocturnal fermentation of the green apple's pectin actively suppresses this hepatic glucose dump. By chemically instructing the liver to hold on to its glucose, the green apple ensures that your fasting blood sugar upon waking remains impeccably low and highly stable. When this targeted single-fruit intervention is maintained over a continuous 30-day cycle, the internal metabolic architecture of an aging adult undergoes a radical and permanent transformation. During the first week, the most immediate clinical observation is the complete cessation of nocturnal hypoglycemia and the subsequent eradication of late-night sugar cravings, as the brain is continuously fueled by the steady, slow-release matrix of the pectin gel. As the protocol crosses the 2-week threshold, the sustained, nightly activation of AMPK by the quercetin begins to yield macroscopic results. The visceral adipose tissue, the hard, dangerous fat surrounding the heart, liver, and pancreas, becomes highly mobilized. Because the insulin block has been removed every single night, the body utilizes these 8 hours of sleep as an uninterrupted, highly efficient fat-burning session. The waistline begins to physically shrink, not due to starvation or fluid loss, but due to the genuine targeted oxidation of visceral lipids. By the end of the 30 days, the cellular sensitivity to insulin is largely restored. The muscle cells, having been repeatedly drained of their lipid droplets via nocturnal beta oxidation, upregulate their insulin receptors, meaning the body requires exponentially less insulin to manage dietary carbohydrates during the waking hours. To achieve this profound biological overhaul, the methodology is non-negotiable. The fruit must be a tart, highly acidic green apple, as sweet red or yellow varieties contain a fructose load that completely negates the AMPK activation. The apple must be consumed entirely raw, with the skin intact, as boiling or baking destroys the fragile quercetin and degrades the complex pectin matrix. And crucially, it must be consumed 30 to 60 minutes following the final meal of the day, acting as the definitive chemical bookend to your daily caloric intake. To view the ingestion of this specific fruit as a mere dietary suggestion is to profoundly underestimate the intricate, unforgiving laws of human biochemistry. By introducing this precise combination of complex polysaccharides and bioactive flavonoids into your gastrointestinal tract every evening, you are deploying a sophisticated pharmacological agent that forcefully overrides the pathological fat storage pathways associated with aging. You are utilizing the physical mechanics of soluble fiber to shield your vascular network from toxic glucose spikes. You are deploying master antioxidants to chemically ignite your cellular fat-burning furnaces. And you are feeding your microbiome the exact prebiotic fuel it requires to suppress hepatic glucose production and eliminate systemic inflammation. It is the ultimate demonstration of functional, targeted nutrition, proving that you possess the absolute biological authority to seize control of your nocturnal metabolism, ensuring that every hour of your sleep is chemically optimized to repair your tissues, stabilize your endocrine system, and relentlessly incinerate visceral fat, thereby reclaiming the vibrant, lean, and highly efficient physiology required to thrive in the later decades of human life.